Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 video games that were set up for failure. For this list, we're looking at games that were practically set up to ultimately bomb at launch. Whether they succeeded or failed is within the eye of the beholder. Which of these games surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. No Man's Sky. The marketing of No Man's Sky was always shrouded in mystery. While the game was continuously getting shown off in the months leading up to launch, we rarely, if ever, saw legitimate gameplay. On top of that, director Sean Murray confirmed a handful of features that were not present in the game.
Technology recharge.
When No Man's Sky finally released, Murray and development studio Hello Games were met with overwhelming backlash for false promises and questionable marketing. Though the game has seen success with its expansions and have done good on improving the game's quality, this blemish on the game's history will never be forgotten. Number 9. Crash Team Racing. In the case of Crash Team Racing, this kart racer was meant to be the death of the Bandicoot. Developer Naughty Dog had grown to resent Universal Interactive, the original owner of the Crash IP, due to its minuscule share in the profits. For their final game, Naughty Dog decided to try and tank the IP so that Universal could no longer profit from the games after their contract expired. To do this, they came up with the goofy, dumb plot about an alien challenging Earth to a race and shipped the game in a not-so-polished state compared to the previous ones. However, Crash Team Racing became an accidental success and is often cited as one of the best racing games ever. Number 8. Spyro: Enter the Dragonfly. After signing a contract with Universal Interactive in 2000, Check 6 Studios and Equinox Digital Entertainment were signed on to develop a brand new Spyro game for the 6th console generation. Spyro: Enter the Dragonfly received scathing feedback for its buggy state, abysmal visuals, and poor optimization.
Honey, that slide's not very sticky. This honey must be of a uniquely unsticky variety.
How did the game get this way? Well, interviews conducted by French journalist The Wampagem reveal a harrowing development cycle. Executives and managers at both Check 6 and Equinox frequently fought over creative differences, failed to communicate with each other, saw devs turn over throughout development, and even threatened each other with canceling the game. Enter the Dragonfly would be the first, last, and only game either studio would develop before shutting down. Number 7. Duke Nukem Forever. While Duke Nukem saw huge success throughout the 90s, his next outing wouldn't happen for a long time. Revealed in 1997, Duke Nukem Forever would spend 14 long, grueling years in development. Throughout this lengthy cycle, the game would change engines several times and saw half of an entire dev team walk away. By this point, the game was vaporware. So, imagine everyone's shock when Gearbox Software resurrected the project in September 2010 and had the game go gold 8 months later.
I'm back, baby.
Mistakes were very clearly made as the game launched with awful controls, boring action, and none of the overt humor of the classic games. 14 years and 44 days in development and nothing to show for it.
Touch it with you touch me.
Number 6. Fallout 76. In the summer of 2018, just days before the reveal of Fallout 76, word had gotten out that the next Fallout game was going to focus on online multiplayer with a much different VAT system and more survival-based mechanics. The rumor immediately divided the Fallout community, even after the official reveal. But all those trailers playing country roads could not mask the awful quality of Fallout 76, no matter how many times we heard them. broken quest lines, an empty world, fetch quests, lack of NPCs, wastelands of audio logs, and bugs and glitches galore. And this is all without counting the garbage with Fallout First, the moldy power helmets, canvas bag, and doxing of customers. It's like the game itself wanted to die. Number 5. Assassin's Creed Unity. Remember in the early 2010s when Ubisoft was churning out annual releases of Assassin's Creed? While it worked for a couple of years, the constant crunch eventually caught up to the conglomerate. When Assassin's Creed Unity launched in 2014, players got to see faceless NPCs, floating mouths and eyeballs, and a variety of other bugs and glitches. Ubisoft immediately went into damage control, ceasing sales of the game's Season Pass and Gold Edition while offering players who already bought the Season Pass a free Ubisoft game. Since Syndicate launched the following year, we see a new Assassin's Creed every 18 months to 2 years now, though that might change with the Assassin's Creed Infinite live service game. Number 4. Crucible.
This here is Bug. He's a terraforming botany unit modified to test out the viability of using robots to collect essence.
The first title to come from Amazon Game Studios was not a remarkable first outing. Crucible was pretty much the generic game you'd think of when you hear online third-person shooter. And the dispassion was evident after former senior systems designer Stephen Dewhurst spoke to PC Gamer in March 2022. Dewhurst stated that Amazon's executives thought successful methods could translate across anything and everything, and that learning from others was a fruitless endeavor.
If he gets in a tight spot, he can always chug a healing beverage. Solid guy to have on your side, but I wouldn't want to get in his way.
According to Dewhurst, he was asked, "Why would learning things help you do your job?" Crucible never made it out of beta, and the game was shut down less than 6 months after it was first available to download.
Do me a favor. Don't tell her I called her small.
Number 3. Anthem.
Feeling different about your hometown, Johnny?
Yes, I suppose so. We'll see.
Yes, we all knew Anthem was bound to show up at some point. Announced in 2017, Anthem spent years hyping up the press with nothing more than cinematics, pre-rendered footage, and flying. You mean the thing we did in Super Mario 64 back in 1996? Oh joy! Little did anyone know there was no real work done at this time. According to an expose published by Kotaku just 2 months after launch, management failed to make any decisions about the game's direction, and development did not start until 18 months before launch. What's worse is that management had told staff that the supposed BioWare magic would kick in, and everything would come together at launch for a fantastic product. Anthem would cease support 2 years after its release.
Of course, she knows I would be angry to write her story for the wall.
Number 2. Marvel's Avengers.
Maybe this is what I've been waiting for. Maybe I'm finally part of something bigger.
When an Avengers game was announced from Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics in January 2017, the world was hyped. What could the legendary Tomb Raider studio and Final Fantasy publisher bring to such a massive Marvel IP? Well, the big picture grew ugly quick, and it got uglier the more it was shown off.
What are you gonna do with it? Sell it to the highest bidder?
I'm after something much more valuable.
What's that?
I won't spoil the surprise.
Bland combat, a live service model, and an aesthetic that barely towed the line between original and MCU made for a rather forgettable package. In addition to awful technical performance, the game was drip-fed content since launch, and the inclusion of Spider-Man months later only made the game more of a joke. Perhaps single-player games were Crystal Dynamics' bread and butter.
Damn it, they played us.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Out of any game that was arguably set up to fail, Atari's E.T. game is the poster child for international failure. And we aren't just saying that because of how it led to the 1983 video game market crash. E.T. was developed in a mere 5 weeks by only one guy, Howard Scott Warshaw. In the documentary Atari Game Over, Warshaw described his time working on the game, stating that he was basically working at every waking moment. Even when he was away from his computer, he was working in his head. Sleepless nights during this massive crunch period resulted in one of the worst games ever made and a wake-up call for a still young video game industry.
In the mood for more awesome gaming content? Be sure to check out this video here on Mojo Plays. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.